everybody. We're back again for some more college football. We are already into week two.
Week two.
Oh, yeah, week 2, week 3.
Week 2 and week 3. We're covering week 2 right now.
Oh, yeah, we're going to recap week 2.
And do a little summarization of what we think is going to happen in week 3.
Yeah, we'll do some predictions. We'll do our winners and losers of week 1. Might throw in a comment or two about maybe a good team or a stinky team in there somewhere. So
we have a few nominations, but we feel like there's a standout stinker this week. We'll reveal later.
Yeah, there's always a standout stinker somewhere. But we'll do our winners and losers, and then we'll do some predictions for week 3. But let's go ahead and jump into last week. Alabama number 1. How many times have I said that?
100,000. How many times have Nick Saban brought his Tide to number 1?
God, I don't know, but they beat Mercer
pretty badly.
Yeah, 48-14. They actually probably held up on them a little bit, and only beat them by 34. But that was Alabama. Number 2 now, of course, is Georgia.
And UAB, a favorite team of mine from childhood experiences, the Dragons, the Blazers.
Yeah, Georgia didn't score any offensive touchdowns in game 1, so they made it up on game 2.
Yep.
With 56 points. Against
7.
UAB 7.
And that 7 was from a pick 6 from UAB.
Yeah, UAB is not a bad team as far as that goes.
But they were just overwhelmed by the pure talent.
Georgia was flexing a little bit. The coolest thing we did see in there was UAB's...
That was one of the coolest...
Chains.
The turnover chain.
The turnover chain. Did you see the turnover? You need to look up UAB's turnover chain.
It is radical.
It's a dragon head.
It's a dragon skull.
It's a dragon skull, and it's on a chain.
It has crossbones, and the person who commits the turnover gets to wear that thing.
The thing is, look that up, though. If you haven't looked up the UAB turnover chain.
It is awesome.
I mean, that's all they scored was a pick 6, but that chain was worth pulling out. That was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But Georgia did get the win, but I'll give props to UAB for competing.
Yeah. And props for competing goes to number 3 also.
No.
The Ohio State
lost to the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah. Oregon went into the U.
Into the horseshoe.
Yeah.
And put a horseshoe up theirs.
And handed them a pretty good one there, yeah. Ohio State didn't...
Ohio State's run defense is becoming a problem.
Well, the rumor is it was the secondary that was bad for Ohio State this year. So maybe it is the defense in general.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Let me tell you the past 2 stats from Ohio State's 2 games defensively.
What's that?
Minnesota, week 1.
Uh-huh.
They played and won by 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up 200 rushing yards to Minnesota. And against Oregon, it's even worse.
What's that?
269 to the Ducks.
Ooh, so 469 rushing yards given up in your first 2 games.
Man, you see they might have a weakness?
I think there might be some run defense problems on the front line there, maybe.
I wonder how far that offense for Ohio State's going to have to carry that defense.
Well, if it couldn't carry it at home against Oregon, which was 0-9
against Ohio State all time.
Ohio State all time. So that was Oregon's
first dub against
first
the Bucks.
dub, and it's in Ohio State.
In the horseshoe.
When they're ranked number 3. So that was a pretty deadly
All
blow.
props to the Ducks. They played very well. They ran the ball, especially they ran the ball very well.
Yeah. Now, Ohio State is a top-tier team, and they've got a chance. This is an early loss. They've got a chance to turn it around. But if they don't do something with that defense...
And if the run defense keeps giving up 200 yards a game...
You can't give up 200 yards a game and expect to play for a championship.
Not just as a whole, but rushing.
No.
But props to Oregon. You guys played very well. Quack on.
Yes, they did play very well. Speaking of teams that played very well, we're going to go to number 4. Oregon put up 76.
Oklahoma put up 76 against Western Carolina.
Western Carolina put up
0.
I think Oklahoma covered the spread there. I mean, imagine the spread being 76 points.
That would be stupid.
It's stupid. But they beat them 76-0, so
but
Oklahoma
didn't surrender a point defensively, so...
No. It was against Western Carolina, but Western Carolina is not a bad team. They're a lower tier team, but they're like UAB. They're not terrible. So,
but UAB is in a higher echelon. UAB is in the FBS.
Yeah.
Western Carolina's in the FCS.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and jump up to number 5. That would be Texas A&M. Texas A&M really hasn't showed me anything yet.
Do you know why they haven't showed you anything? Important detail.
What's that?
Their quarterback cracked his leg, and they had to bring in a backup.
Yeah, so that may hurt their season quite a bit. I don't know, but they only beat Colorado 10-7.
And it was at Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So
the Buffaloes, they almost got buffaloed. That was pretty fun. That was an inside joke. But that was pretty...
Surely Jimbo can fix his fishing rod.
I don't know, but they definitely did not look great. They did not look great at all. So it wouldn't surprise me if they end up with an L in that column pretty soon.
Yeah, if they don't fix that problem.
If they just don't fix that. We got number 6, Clemson, coming off of an L. But speaking of L's, they just came off the L.
To UGA.
Yeah,
Georgia.
And they played a good remedy to help them feel better, South Carolina State.
Not South Carolina.
No.
Which is a normal remedy.
Yeah, South Carolina
State.
They beat them pretty easy, 49-3. So that was a nice little thumping. Cincinnati, I don't know much about them yet, but they're impressive.
They're impressing so far.
Their
they
first
started
2
off
games
slow, but they got it together late and pulled away.
Yeah, they beat Murray State by 35. So that was a pretty easy game. Number 8, Notre Dame almost lost for the second week in a row
to Toledo.
They had to pull it out at the last second again.
This is what I call pulling talent out of the butt.
They did. They pulled a little talent out the butt there at the end. Beat Toledo 32-29.
When everything is not going right, you use talent to save the day.
Yeah, I've got a good feeling that Notre Dame, like an Ohio State, may get an L sometime if they don't do something. I mean, you can't keep winning at the
close.
very last second against mediocre teams.
You can't play close consistently like that. You're eventually going to take a loss because close wins and close losses can be a harsh mistress.
Big time, yeah. And I mean, teams can build from that, but
Notre Dame needs to fix some issues.
Notre Dame is going to have to fix some issues. Now we can get rid of number 9 and number 10. Both here in the same game. We had Iowa at Iowa State.
Big brother spanking little brother.
Iowa State has not won in quite a few years.
Against Iowa.
And they didn't this year either.
And they got the defense for Iowa showed up and forced 4 Iowa State turnovers. 3 being interceptions.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about it. Iowa State might have been the better team. They only lost by 10 with 4 turnovers. But if you have those turnovers,
it kills any offense you have.
It's definitely gonna kill you. We got number 11 Penn State with a nice little remedy for them. Also, they played Ball State and won 44-13.
Well, that was a pretty convincing win too. The main reason why I remember Ball State was whenever that Notre Dame quarterback it's been it's 2018. Man, it's been that long.
Yeah.
But I remember that Notre Dame quarterback throwing 3 picks against Ball State. That's always been in the back of my mind. That's why I remember Ball State for some weird reason.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about number 12. That was Oregon that took care of Ohio State. So quack attack. So we'll jump to number 13, Florida playing South Florida. They won 42-20, but they had to change quarterbacks
because the PE coach had enough of Emory Jones throwing interceptions.
Yeah, so Florida, like some other teams, Tennessee, can't figure out which quarterback to use. So
that could kill your team.
That could definitely kill your team.
I think they should just start their backup.
Florida's got a lot of talent. So and again, how many times has Florida started out looking crappy? Couldn't figure out the quarterback. They put in a backup quarterback and then they win 8 in a row. That seems like that's Florida's MO, I think, But they did win by 22 against South Florida, so go team. Let's see here. We are at number 14. If I can scroll through my little paper here and figure out who is number 14. Oh, that's USC.
Oh, my lordy.
Oh, USC at number 14 got hammered. Gave up 42 to a Stanford team that's a bad Stanford team. They lost 42-28.
The loss was so bad that they had to fire the head coach.
Yeah, they fired their head coach, kicked him out the door. I mean, you lose one game. I mean, last year they sucked too. But you lose one game against okay, that was a bad Stanford team. Okay, you fired the coach. Okay, I can see it now. Okay, I just had to sort of speak it through my mind there.
It's not like the Willie Taggart firing and hiring, because that was just hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, this was just like, oh, Mr. Helton, thank you for your service. I mean, Ronnie was just going out to the stadium. Speaking of heading out the stadium, number 15, Texas.
Got ran over.
Welcome to the SEC.
They got ran over.
Man, Arkansas, welcome to Texas to the SEC. They're not even in the SEC yet.
They got plowed over.
That's an old rivalry, and 40-21. Beat them by 19.
Speaking of plowing, you think Ohio State's run defense was bad? Check out Texas's stat line. I can remember it off the top of my head.
What did they give up?
They gave up 333 yards to Arkansas on just the ground.
What?
They
300 what?
333 yards to Arkansas. Defensively on the rush. Not total yards, but run defense.
Jeez Louise. That's two games worth of rushing yards.
Arkansas ran hog wild, I'm telling you. Whooping suey.
Jeez Louise. But Texas has got a decent team. Maybe they took up for granted.
Down.
They were doing the horns down at the end of the game there. Texas is going to have to turn it around.
They're going to have to.
I mean, people were saying Texas was the best team. And
do you think they can put their horns back up again after this?
We shall see. Let's see.
They need to fix their run defense, though. That was just a plowing.
Yep. Number 16 didn't play last week, so we'll jump to 17. Them Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. I love the Chanticleers.
The fancy chickens.
The fancy chickens.
Beating the crap.
Go fancy chickens.
Beating the crap out of Kansas.
Everybody beats the crap out of Kansas, don't they? It's a basketball team. I think they put the same players that play basketball out on the football field.
Yep.
Kansas is horrible.
They celebrated after beating an FCS team at home by storming the field.
Yeah, they won
That's the sign of a program right there.
Yeah. Number 18, Wisconsin dropped down quite a bit after that loss. Handled Eastern Michigan pretty good, beat them by 27.
They needed that. It's more of a remedy for the Badgers.
And we'll go ahead and jump on to, normally we only do the top 15, but we're going to the top 20 today. So, number 19, Virginia Tech, looked pretty good against Middle Tennessee.
So, yeah, that's a good win for the Hokies. They started off slow like Cincy, but pulled it away late.
And number 20, Ole Miss. I want to go down to number 20 because I think Ole Miss is going to be a rising team. They are up to number 20 now, and they put 54 on Austin.
They got an elite offense.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and jump into week 3. Let's do some predictions. Before we go into the predictions, let's do the stinker of week 2.
Okay, this one's
a special one.
This is a special
This is like
one.
a 70-year-old stink bomb here.
But it's kind of in the same situation as Vanderbilt.
Yes, except for worse. Florida State, after playing Notre Dame to the wire, having the story of the week, bringing in the quarterback that hadn't played in 1,000 days, and they almost beat Notre Dame. They come out and
cracked the bed against Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville what?
Jacksonville State.
Not the
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
But the Jacksonville
State. They have like 400 kids in their college or something? And the 11 that was on the field beat Florida State. And to beat it all, go ahead.
To top this whole crap cake off, they lose on a last-second touchdown that was only like an 8-yard pass.
Instead of playing prevent defense, it's like 60 yards for the touchdown, and it's like 8 seconds left. And instead of playing prevent defense, they just dropped it and played cover 2, and they threw it. The guy caught the ball and he ran it for a touchdown.
Congratulations, Jacksonville State, for that big win.
Oh, no, yeah, Jacksonville State. That's probably
one of the biggest wins in their school
history. And it is the biggest loss. That's why I mentioned this.
That Florida State
has had at least since 1951.
Man, that's just
70 years of crap.
Man, that is just pathetic.
That is pathetic.
Just like that last play call. Why do you not go for
Why don't you do the prevent? Just keep him out of the end zone. You can tackle him at the 10-yard line. Who cares? Time's out.
But don't let him just walk in there without a discount.
That's
just bad.
That was just horrible. All right, now we'll go ahead and jump into week 3 of our predictions. Number 333, and we'll come right off the bat having a pretty good game. Number 1, Alabama is going to play
at the Swamp.
At the Swamp. They're number 1 and number 11 get both those out in one whack. Alabama's actually favored by 14.5. You know what? I am taking Alabama.
You're taking Alabama over Florida?
I think it's going to be like a
14-point beating?
42 to, I don't know, man, it may be more than that. Maybe like 42 to 20. I'm picking like a 20-point beat down here. Alabama looks crisp and just right there. And Florida's like, who's going to start as quarterback today? You know? You get to start today as quarterback. I mean, Alabama's going to have to just. The only way they don't beat them by 14 if Saban looks across the field and goes, man, I really feel sorry for those guys. So we are going with Alabama minus a little 14.5 there, because that's just ugly. That's just ugly. All right, let's just jump in here. What does Georgia have this week? Georgia is playing. Oh, speaking of the other South Carolina, they went from South Carolina State last week, and now we have South Carolina on the field.
The Gamecocks of South Carolina?
The Gamecocks of
South Carolina?
We're
talking about the right South Carolina.
Yes, and Georgia is favored by 31.5. What the living flip is that?
What?
31.5 points.
It's a conference game.
That's a little scary.
I'm not taking that.
That's a lot of points for a conference game.
Yeah. That's too high.
Yeah, I think Georgia's going to win, maybe by 20, maybe by 25, 30. But
not by 30.
31's a little scary for me, so I would probably take. I'm not a South Carolina fan. I mean, they're playing their head coach of the women's volleyball team as their quarterback, but still, though, 31.5 points is a lot of points. So, I mean, I hate to, but South Carolina plus 31 is that's just a little too much there. Number 3 is Oklahoma. They jumped up to number 3. They are playing Nebraska.
As long as Nebraska is coached by Scott Frost, they will not get anywhere.
No,
that's what I'm stating.
I'm not saying this. Now, this one is just about as bad. Oklahoma is favored by 22.5. But, man, Nebraska
struggled ever since Scott Frost took the helm.
Mm-hmm.
And remember when we said that his system didn't work?
No, he said it didn't work. No,
and they brought him in anyway.
Yeah, Nebraska lost by 8 to Illinois, but they beat Fordham and they beat Buffalo. But I just don't know.
I don't know about Nebraska.
No, 22.5 points again is a lot of points, but Nebraska is it's pretty bad. Honestly. Oklahoma's, again, trying to prove something, especially since Texas lost last week. They may try to put up 60 on them. So, I might go with Oklahoma on that one. I hate taking plus 20 points, but, I would probably go with it, yeah. Oregon, the mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks of Oregon.
Have jumped up to number 4. And
after that big win. And they get an easy cupcake.
And they are playing Stony Brook. And
they're going to beat the crap out of them.
They're going to beat the flying flip out of them. Now, this line is the biggest I've seen in a while. You think the 31 points is big?
Oh, please tell me. What is the line?
The line is 40. 40 points. It's probably going to be like a 56-3 game.
Jeez.
It probably, we had a 76-0 last week. Again, I don't want to touch a game that's really over 20 points. But dag nab.
Oh my God.
Those are some hard ones to pick. They are. When they get up to that big and the cupcakes are normally they won't even throw a line on a cupcake that big, but they're throwing some lines this week. So we got number 5 Iowa playing Kent State. We got another. There's cupcakes for everybody. Cupcakes.
Iowa gets a tasty one.
Mm-hmm.
And Iowa is going to jump all over them.
They will beat the living crap out of them, too. That's another probably 20, 25-point game. Number 6 is Clemson now. And they're
going to beat the crap out of Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech might as well be an FCS team this year. They're really bad.
Georgia gets them as a rival every year?
Yeah. Now, hey, Georgia Tech a couple of years ago they were coming, and then they went and just fell off the face of the planet, man.
Clemson's going to beat them back down to the cellar.
Yeah, the line is 28, and honestly, it's probably going to be just about 28 there. We got number 7. Texas A&M is favored over New Mexico.
They should
by
win.
30. I'm not going to take them at 30. I don't think Texas A&M could score 30 points.
No, I don't think they could score, but I will pick them to win.
Oh, I will pick them to win. No, but it might be like a 28-10 game. I mean, I'm thinking it's
their offense
18.
Is struggle.
Yeah, their offense is really having some hard times. Yeah, we got number 8 Cincinnati at Indiana, and
this one should be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati. Cincinnati's only favored by 3.5 points. This is an NFL game.
NFL game.
Yeah,
it's a college game.
I mean, yeah, but it's the line's only 3.5. I mean, that sounds like a Monday Night Football line or something. I'm going to take Cincinnati. Cincinnati has, I mean, they started slow last week, but they still won by 35. So I think they should. But Indiana's not a bad team again. But Cincinnati, until somebody beats Cincinnati, I'm definitely going to take 3.5 points there. We got number 9. Number 9 is the Ohio State.
The Ohio State.
They're taking on Tulsa, favored by 24.5. This will be Ohio State's bounce back game to prove
this should be the practice game for the Buckeyes.
Practice game for the Ohio State.
It's an on-field practice game.
Yeah,
so I've heard that Ohio State's head coach, Ryan Day, was really frustrated with the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to try to fix some of the problems, but maybe this is the game to try to fix those.
I think they'll beat them by 25 to 30 points. Yeah,
the offense is still good.
Yeah, the only other ranked team versus ranked this week is going to be a pretty good one. Penn State went from 11 to 10, and is taking on a newly ranked number 22 Auburn.
The Trail Mix versus Big Game James. Can you ask for a better matchup?
First of all, we have no clue what Auburn's going to do. And secondly, is Penn State going to blow it in the end? That's your two questions. Auburn, you have no clue what's going to show up with Auburn and Penn State. Will they lose it?
This is easily the most interesting game.
It is an interesting game.
Weekend.
Because we really don't know what the flip's going to happen this one.
We got Trail Mix or Big Game James?
Yeah, Penn State is favored by 5 at home. Because Auburn is going to Penn State. It'll make it a little bit tougher. But
do you pick the Nittany Lions or do you pick the Tigers?
I'll leave that to you. Who do you think's going to win that one? Auburn or...
Big Game James has won one big game already, so let's give him another big game.
Hey, we'll go with Penn State on this one then. Sounds good to me. And then we got number 11, we had already talked about, was Florida taking on Alabama. Notre Dame has won 2-0, and they've dropped down to 12 because they keep barely winning. They are taking on Purdue. Notre Dame.
What, Dad?
Yeah.
Notre Dame hasn't been playing well against Toledo. I might pick an upset.
We have plus 7.5 there also. So we'll take Purdue plus 7.5 points.
I'd pick Purdue to go into Notre Dame and win if they don't fix those problems.
Hey, we're picking Notre Dame's first L of the year here. So that's an exciting. I mean, they've been 45 seconds away from 2 L's already. So we got number 13. UCLA has jumped up into the mix. They
How
are playing
about the stale Chip Kelly? Maybe his chips are getting flavor now.
Hey, he's had the team. This is his 4th year right now, so
he has to make results.
It's his team. All the players are his players. All the scheme is his scheme. So he either wins or he don't.
Either he's fresh or he's stale.
Mm-hmm.
The chips must be hungry.
You could say, give him a few years. This is the 4th year. He's had a few years.
The chips must be tasty.
Those chips are either good and tasty, or it's time to chunk them in the trash and get some new chips. So they're taking on Fresno State. I think they'll beat Fresno State.
UCLA should be easily handling it.
He actually does have a decent team. It's not a superpower, but
enough to compete in the Pac-12.
They are fun to watch now, though. They are fun to watch. Number 14 is Iowa State, and they're taking on UNLV. UNLV is horrible. UNLV is a very, very bad team, so Iowa State should bounce back to this one and handle it pretty easy. And then we'll go on to number 15, and we'll chomp it off with number 15. I guess number 15 is not even playing this week, are they? Yeah, there they are. Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has jumped into... Man, Virginia Tech started out unranked.
And ever since that big win in week 1, they jumped up.
They beat North Carolina. They won last week. They're 2-0. They're playing at West Virginia.
This is going to be a trap.
That right there, Matt. That's a trap game.
Do you want to pick the Mountaineers?
I probably would take the Mountaineers. Virginia Tech's on the high coming in,
And the Mountaineers
and the Mountaineers are 1-1, but they're a pretty good team too. So we'll actually take that one right there. We've got plus 2.5, and the Mountaineers are at home. So basically, people are calling it even. I think West Virginia sneaks up. I think this is another trap game. So we'll go ahead and take that one, and that's it. That is our college football week 2 and week 3.
This was a very fun video for me to do.
It was a fun video. So be sure and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button,
hit the groovy baby button.
Groovy baby button over somewhere. Otherwise, check us out next time. We'll see you again.
See you next week.